What's up, everybody? My name is Coach Clay with Alchemy Body Conditioning, and today I'm bringing you a complex series on shoulder stretching. So, for those of you who have closed chained elastic bands, resistance bands for working out typically is how you'll find these. But what you'll want is probably the thinner one to do this series with me. And by thinner, I mean the actual width, not like the diameter. So, 1/2 inch max, shorter would be better. What we're gonna do is be anchoring this to a pole or something high. So if you've got like a banister on the second level, or don't do this shower curtain, it'll probably fall off, get you in the face, not fun, not cool. So if you're in the gym and you've got something somewhere to anchor this band overhead, that's optimal. If you don't have somewhere overhead, as long as you can anchor it to something solid, safety first, okay? Always, number one, safe and spectacular. So, I'm gonna demonstrate going over. What I'm gonna do is take the short ends, take it over, pull, open this end up, and then I'm gonna grab the bands, pull through. Boop, super easy. Anchor it and secure it. The most confusing part for some people is the setup. Almost all of these stretches are going to be set up the same way as far as the band and the wrist. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the band, the back of my wrist, and I'm going to close my grip around the band. You don't have to do it with your arm out this way. I was just showing you, demonstrating that way. So upright, you can see I have the band in the back of my wrist. My knuckles are facing my face, and I'm going to close the fingers on one side and the thumb on the other, so I can grip it something. And now I'm good to go. Remember, we're trying to stretch. We're not trying to do like resistance training. Like, I'm not trying to like pull this and get a tricep workout. No, what I would do is just keep this arm relaxed while I'm going through these stretches. I'm going to recommend a couple things while we go through the stretching, as far as how to breathe, as well as options for you to get the most out of the stretch. So I'm going to start, since my right hand's already set up, the arm bar. Everyone loves an arm bar, right? So I'm going to lock my arm out, thumb down, turn around. For everyone just starting the stretch, keep your stretch intensity to a 3 out of a 10. We're trying to stretch, not rip, tear, or break, or dislocate anything. And one thing that does happen when we start to get a stretch and it gets really intense, sometimes we're thinking, oh, I'm working out, I'm in the gym, the more intense the better, right? Well, if I put too much intensity on a twig, it will snap. Same can happen to muscle fibers. You can put your muscles through so much of a stretch that you're actually sore for days from your stretching, not actually from the workout. So, I want you to recover and thrive after your workouts, before your workouts, or just day-to-day living, whatever it is that you need. Keep it to a 3 out of a 10. As I walk out, I'm going to step out with the same leg. I'm going to step forward with that same leg. I'm going to get in a lunge position so my back leg drops down. So now I've not only gone into a really good extension, now I'm getting a little bit of tension in that shoulder to really elicit a lot of the nerve. We have huge amounts of nerves, not only within the muscle, but the joint caps itself, so joints, muscles, tendons, and ligaments. There's nerves all throughout there that are sending signals back to the brain, back to the muscle, telling you what you're feeling. And right now, I'm feeling a nice little stretch, about a 3 out of a 10. While I'm here, what I can do is actually take the head. So we have a lot of muscles attached from the skull, base of the cranium, take it to the side, and I can now take that stretch to the next step. All the muscles in the trap that attach the clavicle and the scapula, and rotator cuff here. Head up and head down, as well as turn away. As I do this, I'm flossing some of the muscles and nerves that run through here. Take it out. Feels pretty awesome now. One thing to remember, before you're stretching, you should probably have a good idea of why you're stretching. Maybe it's tight. Maybe there's some discomfort in that area. Maybe it's my range of motion. So before you start your stretches, always check that range of motion. maybe check it with a push-up. Check it with some overhead extension or some extension in the back. Maybe the good old scarecrow internal external rotation. See how that's treating you that day. And then after your stretches, go back and check your range of motion, your tension, your strength. Are we do you benefit by going through these stretches? Is it what you need? That was stretch number 1, the arm bar. Stretch number 2, coming across the body. Just the hug. Again, the setup's the same. You saw I rotated all the way around. I'm going to take the back of the tricep. I'm going to hug to my chest, kind of right across the collarbone, not across the face. No. Make sure your face is clear, okay? Taking it right across. It's over the shoulder. The band's going behind me. And I can do the same thing. I can now lean down. Getting a good stretch to the rear delt. With this position, what I can do is I can add, it's called a camshaft. Easiest seen in this position. I lose a little bit of the stretch because I'm changing the angle, but it's more beneficial for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take this camshaft up to the ear, back, depress it down, roll forward. So I'm going to go through some big circular rotations. So not only am I getting a stretch, a static stretch through this hold, but now I'm getting stimulus of movement. Because ultimately, aren't we trying to move better, right? So you should also be able to move while you're in these positions. I'm stretching the wrist, can I still move my fingers? Can I still move the elbow while I stretch the wrist? I'm stretching my shoulder, can I still move my elbow? So on and so forth. So that's for the rear delt. So you know, rear delt, anterior delt. When I do some lat work, because that's also attached to the shoulder. I'm going to switch it up. So, same idea. Back of the wrist, close the grip. What I'm going to do now is stay upright and come straight out to you. My bicep's going to go to my ear. I'm going to retain a soft 90-degree bend. I'm not going to be rigid. We're trying to stretch. The band is stretching me, and I'm allowing that stretch to happen. Try not to fight it. As soon as you start to fight these or create too much tension, you're sending mixed signals, and the body's actually not going to get as much benefit through the stretch. So I'm going to sit here, and what I'm going to do is go through a big long inhale, and an exhale. Next, I am going to change my position, because where the anchor is, it's going to have an impact on this way I'm going to change the standard kind of lat drill up. So what I'm going to do is, this is my left side, I'm going to have my left side to the outside, and my right side, my open side, is going to face that anchor point. What I'm going to do is now bend. I'm now flexing, so this is my left side. I'm now flexing to the right. Now opening up the left side even more. I'll step forward just a little bit, so I can keep this kind of position close to my bicep, to the ear. Big inhale. I'm going to come back to this forward position and see if I can get more of the stretch into it. Stay upright. Yeah, way past my ear now. Feels great. Remember, nice and light grip. I'm not pulling, just holding onto the band, letting the band do the pull, staying relaxed in the shoulder. Try not to tense up the shoulder. You can always kind of take a touch test to see, like, do I feel really tense in here? No, I actually feel I am relaxed. Might be a little sore, but it shouldn't feel rock hard. And it shouldn't feel like I'm fatiguing anywhere in my arm. You can tell if I continue to hold this tension, I'll probably start to fatigue my bicep a little bit through the lat and the forearm. So keep it loose. Be aware, always kind of bring yourself back in the moment. Scan, check, internally. Okay, what am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? Should I be feeling it there? All right, got another stretch for you. We're going to stay on the left side this time. Hammer lock. This one is intense. I'm going to tell you that right now. So remember, we're keeping our stretches at a 3 out of a 10. You might even start without the band, or by bringing the band down to a lower position instead of overhead. This next stretch gets a little bit intense. There's a little capsule subacromial space within the rotator cuff when the clavicle comes out. That is very sensitive. Like I said earlier, joint capsules, joints themselves, ligaments and tendons that are wrapped around joints. Lots of nerves in that area. A lot of freehand nerves, so there's a lot of what's called nociception. So if you're taking a stretch too far or too fast or has too much pressure, you will get the signal from the joint to the brain and back out with a sensation saying, whoa, back off, something's wrong or something's going to cause me pain or injury. The stretch, the hammer lock, you're going to take your knuckles to your spine. I'm going to bring the knuckles a little higher on the spine so my elbows are going to flare out. So you see I started kind of low and back. As the knuckles come up the spine, my elbow comes out a little more. I'm going to keep that position. I'm going to show you the stretch first with no band, and then I'll introduce a band. So what we can use is a bar. I'm going to back up slowly into the bar. So I'll come from this angle so you can see where I'm placing the bar. I'm keeping my posture upright. Good posture will always make your stretches better. Any of these stretches, whether it was the arm bar or the hug, lat stretch, if I'm hunched over, if I'm really rounded or in a funky spinal position, to start with, you probably won't get the best benefit out of the stretch where the shoulder is, because the position of my rib cage is going to change the position of the shoulder in relation to the neck and the spine. We want to make sure you're in a good position to start with so you have a base foundation of this stretch before we start adding lateral tilts, camshafts, neck glides, things like that. Back to the hammer lock. Knuckles to the spine, knuckles up, elbow out, nice and tall position. I'm going to take the back of my elbow here to the far side of the pole, and I'm going to slightly lean back into this pole. So what I'm doing, there was a pole behind me here. What's happening is my elbow is coming forward, changing the head of the humerus here, and that subacromial space, that capsule there, it's putting some new pressure. Keep it low, 3 out of 10, please. You will feel this one fast. For most people, some people, this is a stretch already. You sit there, stretch, protract, retract, and be good. I want to do. Elbow back. Make sure I'm not tensing up. My hand stays relaxed. Inhale, exhale. And relax. Take it easy with that one. Shake it out for a second. I'm going to show you the alternative. Because not everyone's body is the same. Every body is different. Everybody's body is different. So I'm going to show you the same thing on the left side. But what we can do now with this pose is change the dynamic of the stretch a little bit. Instead of coming from the front side and going back, what I can do now is go back side of the post to the front. So now my elbow is behind the post is here, and I'm going to step forward a little bit. This one, much more movement than I can get for myself. I start to feel this in the form as well. Lateral delt, mid delt. Stay upright. Keep breathing in. Tilt the head, turn the head away, head up and down. And yes and no. Good stretch there. So, one last stretch that I will show you with the bands. The band doesn't have to be anchored anywhere specific. I'll actually be holding on to the band with 2 points. And I'll be taking the elbow up high. It's good to get your lat stretch first so I can open up my side, get good overhead motion, and then I'm going to go into my tricep stretch. So, we're going to take the band down. I'm going to hang on in one hand, just like I would before. So, back of the wrist, close my grip. This is going to go over the shoulder. I'm going to find the band with my free hand behind my back, should be along my spine. So I'm going to take the grip, and I'm going to walk into the pull. So as I walk into the pull, I'm trying to point the elbow up, and I can slightly lean into the pull, while giving a slight tug with my free hand. This hand is pulling down. Staying up tall. I'm not trying to lean into it, I'm not trying to arch my back. I'll show you from the other side one more time, the tricep stretch. Same setup, goes overhead, elbows up. Find the band along my spine, close the grip, get a little bit of tension, cut the slack out. One more trick with this, because angles matter. The angle of my hand is more towards my spine now, midline. I can, while I'm driving into the post, use my head. So for anyone who's in like martial arts or grappling, you use a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of movements we can do with our head to change angles, to change pressure, to change leverage. So I'm going to take my right hand, which is this hand, arm here. I'm going to pull down on the band. My left hand's relaxed. I'm driving in the post now. And I'm going to take the head, which essentially my wrist is on my occipital lobe, and I'm going to push back, and then I'm doing a left posterior canal tilt. I'm leaning back, and I'm changing the angle of my tricep just a little more to get more of a long head. So, a couple stretches just to recap. Shoulder stretch series, video number 1. Light band, anchored overhead preferably. If not, you can anchor straight out. While that's anchored, a couple stretches we went through is the arm bar. So remember, band against the hands, close grip, stay tall, walk away, kneel down. Also gets a good hip flexor stretch too. So staying here, get my camshafts, my head tilts, breathe. Side bends, lateral bends. Those are options during your stretches. Next stretch is the hug. I'm going to grab the tricep, turn it around, stay tall, walk out, posterior delt. Get that stretch, hugging the tricep, and get my camshafts, head tilts, breathing. And also get bending to the thoracic to get the oblique open. Your breathing has a huge impact on your shoulders too. So while we're going through these shoulder drills, I've been dropping little gems in there about spinal position and breathing. Your breathing can have a huge impact on tension and range of motion in your shoulders. So give it a shot. We had overhead, lat. We'll walk out, stretch it out, we'll drop down, really open this up. Remember to breathe. Get your lateral tilts in, turn away from the anchor point. Last one, we had the hammer lock. Now that this is dropped down, I'll show you the hammer lock with the band. Knuckles to the spine. I'm going to walk out and away. This one, how I rotate either into the stretch or away from the stretch. Into the band or away from the band, might change, or is going to change the position of your rotator cuff, the position of those bones, and the subacromial space that's on that capsule. It's going to change the length of the muscles and the tension on the muscles. So you're going to get different signals. It might be better for you to stretch this way. 3 out of 10, got it. Now I'm going to breathe. Stay relaxed. Or you might need to rotate out of it. Got my tension. Boom. Remember to always assess, stretch, reassess. So remember, make sure, go back, check your overhead, check flexion and extension, internal, external rotation. High five people behind me, feels great. Hope this helps. One thing you can also add in between stretches and before and after the stretch is a little bit of skin stimulus as well. So rub it out, shake it out. Hope you have a great, healthy day. If you have questions, let me know. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please share, please like, and please subscribe so I can continue to bring you more videos on either stretching, exercise, tips, or motivation. Thank you very much for watching. You have a great, happy, healthy day. Take care.